Welcome to another Watercooler Wisdom. And for those of you who have joined us before, you are not going to be disappointed by today's expert and our conversation. For those of you who don't know me, I am Dana Zellers. I'm an executive coach. I help those busy professionals who want to be successful at work, but want to stop maybe ignoring their personal lives. And I am here with Hannah. Hannah, please tell us a little bit about you and who you serve.
Yeah, so my business is My Intuitive Health, and I help a lot of high achieving leaders who are struggling with burnout and a little boredom and lack of joy in their life. And I help to create embodied experiences that shift their nervous system back into receptivity and enjoyment and allows them to really drop their shoulders. So I run luxury food and well-being retreats in southern Italy and Greece.
Yeah.
Magical places like that to really give that full
Mhm.
system reset into alignment. And I also teach virtual mind body healthy cooking programs as another way for these leaders to shift their energy, not only physically in the kitchen with the foods that they're eating, but also mentally through the act itself of the creative cooking process.
Ugh, I love all of this, and it's why you and I are so in line with some of the things that we talk about.
Yes.
What I would love to hear a little bit from you about is I think we get caught up so much in this forcing things to happen. We have these goals, we have this vision of who we're supposed to be, and we think if we just try harder in our business and our health, we can make things happen. Hannah, please tell us that that does not have to be the way.
Yeah, totally. So I love this conversation because we're not taught this. We're taught that input equals output, right? Like in school, you study for a test, you get a good grade.
Mhm.
But that's not actually how the reality works, especially as an entrepreneur, as a business owner. Like some people will launch like identical programs, identical courses, and one person will be wildly successful
Mhm.
and one person won't, right? Even if they're doing the exact same
Yeah.
thing. And it's like, okay, how do we do it then? Like, what's the secret? And and the secret is following your own alignment and having
Mhm.
energy and a nervous system that can support that. And so the thing with forcing is that when you're forcing something, when it feels like you're gripping onto reality, you're trying to control something a little too tightly, and
Mhm.
maybe something's not working, and you're like, no, this has to work. And you're like climbing up a rock, like barrier in the middle of the road, right? Um, and that's not a sign to keep pushing. That's a
Mhm.
sign that something is out of alignment. And what that means is that there's a better way, an easier way that's going to get you the result you want, but with more ease, right? And so, say you're trying to launch a program and you're sending emails. Like you decide people send emails, I should send emails. So you're sending like 10 emails a week and nothing's working. It's crickets. You hate writing the emails. It's like you're just like, I just got to get these done. Like it's like, okay, maybe we could step back, and once we notice we're in the force, what can we either shift or shed in this situation? And maybe you shift your marketing campaign to be a speaker and sell live from a room in front of
Mhm.
people. Like, here's a handout. And so you don't have to send these email sequence. And by doing that, you actually magnetize a lot more results more quickly. Does that make sense?
It totally does. I think a couple of the things that I'm hearing from you is that it's not about getting rid of your goals if they're not
No,
working
no.
necessarily.
I
So
love achieving. Like, no, we're definitely
yeah,
gonna achieve.
because
Yeah.
that's the thing is that, I'm sure you and I both know so many of these, we like to be in control. We have these goals. And what has served us to date is some of those things where it's like we just put our heads down and we keep going and going and
Yeah.
going. That it is possible, usually, and I think this gets to people when they're at kind of a more senior level. You're no longer just kind of executing on a task. Now
Mm.
you're kind of taking control and you have more options to the way that you can accomplish those goals that you're doing. And so I love that idea of kind of stepping back and kind of thinking like, wait a minute, like what feels wrong about this goal that still feels right, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's It's ebbing and flowing with universal intelligence, and like being able to like have the goal and be able to pivot and adjust
Yeah.
based on what's happening. Maybe the timing's off, maybe this is off. It's And so you still have the goal, but you hold it with a bit more spaciousness instead of like, this has to happen right now, or like, you're just gonna get sick. Like,
Absolutely, absolutely. I do think we get caught up with a certain expectation. I mean, one of the things I work with a lot of clients on is kind of that planning process. And so it is helpful for us to think about our SMART goals and being specific about what we want and all of those things. But I think one of the keys that you're talking about is we form those plans with our best knowledge at the time.
right.
And so as we get into it, we want to incorporate a process for kind of some reflection and shifting, and
Mhm.
that's not the plan failing. That's actually should be a part of the plan,
Yeah.
is to have that reflection in that space and kind of holding things a little bit more loosely.
Yeah, and even like I feel like life really strategically opens doors and closes them with way more intelligence for our highest good than we could, or than our ego could ever
Yeah.
dream of. And so even like I was talking to a colleague earlier today, and this new hire that she made, she has to go fire now. And this other
Mm.
partner that she brought on, she also has to go fire. And she was just so upset about it because they weren't working out. And I was like, you know what? Like someone better is going to come along.
Yeah.
Like, this is good. This is just like signaling that like this is misaligned. Like, get rid of them, and something like better than you could ever expect will come in its place. And that's just the difference between her trying to force that
Yeah.
employee to be what she wants versus like letting it go and trusting in the more aligned partner.
Totally, totally. I think this that reminds me a little bit about kind of that sunk cost fallacy where, once I put so much energy or effort and like I've hired a person to do those jobs, we feel a little hesitant to step into a different path. But rather than thinking of that as like sunk cost, think of that as an experience that you needed to go through to get new information to lead you to the next
Yeah,
opportunity. Like
yeah,
it's all part of our path, not to get super woo-woo about it, but like
yeah.
so why can't we just release things that are not working for
Mhm.
us, knowing that there will be something else that will be a better fit and lead us in the right direction?
Yeah, it's a game of practice, and it's a game of trust, like 100%. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
And I think a lot of people don't trust in those circumstances. Any thoughts on sort of how we can better tap into sort of the looseness and the trust and the shifting with things?
Yeah, so I would encourage to lean on indicators of validation that
Mm.
aren't necessarily, the external, like, this is what I want, and like this is the only indicator if this happens that things are good. And so what I mean by this is signs that you're on your path and in alignment, that don't necessarily have to that concrete goal getting achieved, because there's a lag time sometimes between
Yeah.
manifestation. And so you can tap into when you feel clarity on something, like that's a sign that you're in alignment, that something's working. Or if you have this like deep sense of inner peace, like that's a sign that you can keep trusting, keep staying the course. Or if you experience like synchronicities and serendipities, like you're thinking of a friend and or a colleague, and then they call, and it's like just little
Yeah.
signs like this are little nuggets of trust that are building you up to keep going, keep staying course.
I love that. Well, there's so much more we could talk about here. But for those who want to hear more from you and more about your amazing retreats and programs, what is the best way to get a hold of you?
Yeah, so my website is myintuitivehealth.com, and I have all my upcoming programs on there, and you can contact me there. I'm also on social media, Hannah McKitrick or My Intuitive Health.
Wonderful. And I think you have a little free gift for people if they are tuning in
I
and interested.
do, I do. So speaking of force, so many women that I work with try to force their health, right?
Mhm.
And force themselves to be healthy. And in a similar vein to what we were talking about, there's an easier and lighter way to approach food that makes it actually fun and actually enjoyable. And it's like this intrinsic desire to eat well versus you forcing yourself to eat well. And so what I'm offering is a free month to my Cook Club membership. It's a monthly membership. You get weekly recipes, and also we meet once a month for a live healthy cooking class. And the intention of these classes is to really engulf your energy and body and nervous system into the experience, and it rewires how your subconscious works with this automatic habit of cooking these healthy
Right.
foods. It puts your body through the motions, and so it's a really fun time, and it's 1 month free to your audience.
Wonderful. Well, I encourage everybody to take advantage of that month for sure. Getting a sample of that good feeling, those good recipes. And please reach out and follow Hannah. Again, she has much, much more to say and to share. And I hope everyone takes advantage.
Yay! Thank you so much, Dana.
Oh, thank you so much for coming on. And for everyone out there, if you want to hear from more great experts like this, please give me a follow. We will have more water cooler wisdoms yet to come. Thanks so much.